Do you ever wonder if there's a secret formula to capturing someone's heart? In this video, we unveil the 8 dark psychology tricks inspired by the legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi that can make any woman fall for you. Get ready to dive into the mind of a master strategist and unlock the mysteries of attraction and influence. Don't miss out on these powerful techniques. Lesson 1. Mirroring. Some people use mirroring to help them understand how others feel by copying their actions, words, and body language. This method comes from the fact that people naturally feel more at ease and linked with others who are like them. When done carefully, mirroring can help people feel more connected and friendly, building a strong bond between them. In his famous book, The Book of 5 Rings, Miyamoto Musashi talks about how important it is to be flexible and know your enemy. In this case, it means paying close attention to the person you are talking to. Becoming like the enemy was one of Musashi's rules. It can be seen as a way to fit in and get along with others by acting and thinking like them. Before you can use mirroring effectively, you need to learn how to watch things carefully. Always pay close attention to the little things that the other person does, like how they sit, how they move, how they speak, and how they sound when they're feeling something. By matching their actions, you make a mental link that builds trust and a sense of belonging. For instance, you might lean in if she does while she talks. When she uses certain words or phrases, use them easily in your conversation. Subtlety is important because obvious copying can come off as mean or fake. Instead, try to find a soft synchrony that feels natural and easy. Musashi's lessons also stress how important it is to be able to change your mind. Not only does this involve physical imitation, but it also involves aligning your emotions and thoughts. Find out what she likes, what she stands for, and how she feels. By connecting with her on these deeper levels, you make her feel understood and respected, which is a key part of making a strong emotional connection. If you do mirroring with real interest and respect, any woman will feel like she has a stronger relationship with you. The goal is to make a dance of soft sounds where every movement and word is echoed back, creating a sense of unity and understanding. Lesson 2. Reciprocity. Reciprocity is an important part of how people deal with each other and is deeply rooted in our social structure. It means the giving and receiving of favors, where one act of kindness leads to another. You can use this theory to make people feel more loving and loyal. Miyamoto Musashi, who is very good at both strategy and knowing people, often talked about how important it is to give and receive in balance. His lessons say that there should be a flow of energy and effort in all relationships, whether they are in battle or in everyday life. In our case, this means that reciprocity is a strong way to make people feel connected and obligated to each other. To use exchange well, you should start by doing real acts of support and kindness. These actions should show that you care about the woman you're interested in and are suited to her needs and wants. When she gets something useful from you, like emotional support, a thoughtful gift, or a favor, it's only normal for her to want to give something back. Musashi's idea of giving freely without expecting anything in return hits home here in a big way. In order for reciprocity to happen easily, you need to be kind and helpful without directly asking for something in return. This kindness needs to come from the heart and not be used to get something in return. Think about the little things you can do every day to be kind and caring. It could be as easy as remembering her favorite coffee and giving it to her as a surprise, or you could just listen when she needs to talk. When these things are done regularly and honestly, they build a reserve of love and goodwill. S0. Musashi's teachings tell us how important it is to be careful and on time. Like every move in a fight has to be carefully planned and timed, your acts of kindness need to be well thought out and done at the right time. Do not overwhelm her with big actions too soon, as this could make her feel pressured or like you are not sincere. When you follow Musashi's advice, reciprocity turns into a dance of giving and taking that builds a strong bond that lasts. Creating a steady flow of good energy is what it's all about, and each act of kindness and support makes the bond between you stronger. Lesson 3. Scarcity. According to the psychological principle of scarcity, things that people think are rare or hard to get are more valuable. In relationships, this idea can be used to make things feel more urgent and boost desire. Miyamoto Musashi, who knew a lot about planning, often talked about how important it was to be in the right place at the right time. This means making yourself an important and unique part of the woman you're interested in's life. You create a sense of worth and anticipation by not being available all the time. To make good use of scarcity, you need to find a mix between being available and not being available at times. This doesn't mean being deceptive by being hard to get, but making sure that your presence is always valued and never taken for granted. Here, Musashi's idea of being like water, flexible and flowing, fits. You flow toward her some of the time, giving her your attention and being there, and you flow away other times, giving her time to miss you and respect you. Think about how you can use this in your conversations. If you're always there for her and try to get her attention all the time, she might start to take your presence for granted. Instead, make times when you're not there that make the times when you are there more valuable. This could mean not responding to messages right away or not being able to keep plans sometimes, so that when you do spend time together, it feels special and valued. What Musashi taught about timing and rhythm is very important here. In swordsmanship, the right timing can make or break a duel. Similarly, in relationships, the right mix of presence and absence can make you feel longing and appreciation. Be aware of how often you reach out, and make sure that the conversations you have matter and have an effect. Along with scarcity, there should also be great interactions. Be fully involved and aware when you are present. Make experiences that people will remember and that have meaning that will last. This way, your loss will be felt more strongly, and people will look forward to seeing you more. When used with Musashi's strategic knowledge, scarcity can be a strong way to make people want and value something. It's about finding the right mix between being available and not being available, so that your presence is always valued and never taken for granted. Lesson 4. Triangles. When talking about partnerships, triangles mean making a situation where there is a real or imagined third-party interest. This method can make you feel competitive and jealous, which can make you more attracted and desire someone. Miyamoto Musashi knew how to use psychology to get what he wanted when he studied tactics and people. He talked a lot about making things confusing and getting what you want in a roundabout way. When it comes to partnerships, adding a third party can make things feel more urgent and boost interest. To use triangles successfully, you need to hint in a subtle way that there are other possible interests or suitors. You don't have to brag about your other relationships, but you should let her know that you are an attractive person with choices. Musashi's idea of using the environment can be used here, where you create situations that make yourself more desirable in a subtle way. For instance, bringing up a friend who wants to hang out with you or be seen with other friends without meaning to can make you feel like you're competing with them. Subtlety is key. Trying too hard to make her jealous can fail and make you look like you're trying to control her. Make situations that easily bring out your desirability. The lesson that Musashi taught about keeping your enemy on edge applies here. You can keep her interested in the relationship by making her feel like she has to compete with you. Fear of losing you to someone else can make her want you more and be more committed to you. But it's important to balance this with real love and care so she knows she's valued and appreciated. Triangles should only be used in small amounts and with care. Too much use can make you feel unsafe and suspicious. Musashi's idea of unity and balance is very important here. Make sure that the main goal stays on making a real and strong link, and that triangles are only used as a subtle way to help with that. Using triangles and Musashi's strategic ideas can help you make a relationship that is active and interesting. It's about gradually making yourself more desirable and starting a healthy competition, which will make them more interested and committed. Lesson 5. Push-pull. Push-pull is a romantic relationship technique that involves alternating between showing affection and keeping distance, creating emotional highs and lows. Miyamoto Musashi's lessons on balance, rhythm, and timing are particularly useful for this method. It's crucial to know when to show affection and when to keep space, like a good swordsman knows when to move forward and back. To use push-pull effectively, one must learn to switch between warmth and coolness, avoiding being unreliable or playing with feelings. Musashi's idea of flowing with the situation can be applied to push-pull, adjusting actions based on the situation and relationship needs. For instance, creating a short distance after intense connection can give the partner time to miss you and appreciate your presence more. Taking a step back and getting in touch or being less open for a short time can also help maintain balance. Keeping the opponent off balance is essential in push-pull, as it keeps the relationship interesting and fun by making them guess what will happen next. The goal is to make the connection exciting and lively, ensuring both parties stay invested and interested. By following Musashi's advice, push-pull can become a dance of moving forward and backward, making the relationship lively and fun. Lesson 6. Fractionation. Fractionation is a way to increase attraction and emotional connection by making people feel highs and lows. This way of doing things can make encounters stronger and easier to remember. Miyamoto Musashi's lessons about how important it is to understand human nature and use psychological warfare are helpful for understanding how fractionation can be used. Musashi knew that being able to feel a lot of different feelings could help him win battles and win relationships. You need to make a series of emotions that go from positive to negative in order to use fractionation successfully. People can do this by telling stories, sharing experiences, or having talks that make them feel a lot of different things. Musashi's idea of controlling the rhythm applies here, where you can direct the emotional flow of interactions to make an effect that lasts. For instance, you could tell a personal story that starts on a happy note, then moves on to a sadder or more difficult part, and finally ends on a happy and uplifting note. As people often find that shared emotional situations lead to deeper connections, this emotional journey can help people become very close. Breaking the opponent's rhythm, which was taught by Musashi, can be used here. By making her feel things that she didn't expect, you keep her interested and involved in the conversation. The ups and downs of emotions can give the relationship more depth and energy, which makes it more memorable and powerful. But it is very important to make sure that the emotional experiences that fractionation creates are real and have value. Follow Musashi's rule of sincerity and truth in everything you do. The point is to make a real emotional connection, not to play with or manipulate feelings. When you follow Musashi's strategic advice, fractionation can be a very effective way to strengthen your emotional connection and attraction. It's about giving each other a wide range of emotions that help them form a strong bond that lasts. Lesson 7. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation in which someone is led to doubt their own thoughts and truth. People have different opinions about this method, and it may be damaging, so it should be used with care and moral concerns. The lessons Miyamoto Musashi taught about strategy and manipulating people's minds show us the darker sides of how people interact with each other. To avoid gaslighting, though, you should have a strong sense of duty and care about other people's well-being. To understand gaslighting, you need to know how to change people's minds and their perceptions of truth. In this case, Musashi's concept of controlling the opponent's mind applies because you can change how someone else sees things. But this method can be very dangerous, so it should only be used with great care. Gaslighting is when someone changes someone else's view of reality in a subtle way, usually by asking them about their memories, experiences, or feelings. This can make them feel confused and dependent, like they need you to help them understand what's going on in the world. It is possible to use Musashi's principle of deception and indirect means in this situation, but it is important to keep ethics in mind. For instance, if she talks about a memory or experience that you want to play down or change, you could kindly question it or offer a different way to look at it. The goal is to make her question and worry, which will make her depend on your point of view more. But it's very important to make sure that this doesn't cause mental harm or distress. Follow Musashi's rule of honor and integrity in everything you do. The goal should never be to hurt others or trick them for personal gain. Giving someone the silent treatment can be very harmful, so it's important to do it with strong morals and a real concern for their well-being. When done with great care and moral awareness, gaslighting can show how powerful perception and psychological impact can be. But it's important to put the other person's safety and respect first, and make sure your actions are based on honesty and honor. Lesson 8. Love bombing. Love bombing is a way to make a strong emotional connection with someone by giving them too much love, care, and approval. This way can work, but it needs to be used with care and sincerity. The lessons that Miyamoto Musashi taught about passion, focus, and the power of presence can help you understand how to use love bombing. Musashi knew how important it was to be strong and noticeable, both in battle and in personal ties. In order to use love bombing successfully, you need to make someone feel a lot of love and attention. This means giving the other person lots of praise, kind actions, and your full attention. Musashi's idea of full commitment applies here, putting all of your attention and energy into making an amazing and good experience. For instance, you could plan a number of thoughtful dates, surprise her with thoughtful gifts, and tell her all the time how much you admire and appreciate her. The goal is to make them feel loved and cared for, which will lead to a strong emotional bond. You can use Musashi's message of intensity and presence here to make an experience that is powerful and sticks with you. But it's very important to make sure that love bombing is real and not just a way to get what you want. Follow Musashi's rule of sincerity and truth in everything you do. You should show love and attention because you care and are interested, not because you want to control or trick them. Respecting her limits and being herself should also be a part of love bombing. Musashi's idea of balance and harmony is very important here. If you really want to build a strong and healthy relationship with her, don't overdo it to the point where it makes her feel uncomfortable. When you follow Musashi's advice, love bombing can be a very effective way to make an emotional bond that lasts. It means putting all of your attention and energy into making an experience that is good and memorable, led by sincerity and real care. Ultimately, Miyamoto Musashi's lessons give us a deep and strategic way to understand and use these psychological techniques. His rules about balance, timing, sincerity, and respect should guide our actions and make sure that our relationships are based on honesty and real care. By learning and using these lessons, we can make connections that are deeper and more meaningful, which will lead to strong and long-lasting relationships.